Course in Miracles. It says, I walk with God in perfect holiness. I walk with God in perfect holiness. And there are a few beautiful things this one said, very poetic. First of all, the whole idea is that we're not separate from God. And so when I think of God as the creation energy, the whole singular consciousness that is in literally everything animate, everything inanimate. It's the energy that still exists, that created the universe, and it created us, and it's still in us. It is, we're not apart from it. And that's what it's saying, is that God goes with us wherever we are, because God is our life. Our life is God. Everything we do, everything we are, everything. And the part that was poetic I really loved was, it said something like, as you step back, the light within you steps forward and encompasses the world. And at first I was like, what does that mean? As you step back. And what I think it means, at least the way it hit me, was as you step back, meaning the little you, the ego you, as you set aside all of your usual, mundane, everything's thoughts, behaviors, sense of self, identity, ego. And I say the word mundane to mean just the regular, everyday experience of our life, like what we think we're doing, the mundane. As you quiet that, so to step back, I think, means to quiet it, to just recognize it for what it is and let it go. Don't attach to that identity, that sense of the doership in the world. As we step that back, the God light, the light, the self in us that is ever present, never changing, always there, always whole, always worthy, can now be seen, because our clouded self, the self that's like, I'm a doer, I can do things, and I have willpower and thoughts and achievement to do, and blah 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 blah. As that steps back, that's the cloud, and then it lets the natural God light shine, the creation energy that's with us, that's never changing, always there. The part of us, I've been hearing this in a lot of different ways, been reading it in a lot of different ways lately. It's funny how things come in 2s and 3s and 10s. There's this part of us that can never be touched, never be blemished, no matter what we do, no matter what's done to us. There is that part that is always pristine, always pure, unchangeable. And that's the God stuff. That's the stuff that this lesson is talking about. That's that light that's always there, that's always with us, that is our life. It is our life. So I really loved this one. Now I forgot what the title was. Something about I walk with God. In his holiness, I walk with God, something like that. So yeah, I always walk with God, because God is never apart from me. I'm never apart from God. It's in there, unchangeable, unblemishable. So anyway, I loved that one. I'm headed out of the Bozeman area. I finally got reception again after camping last night. Different videos. It was a beautiful campsite I stumbled upon, and it was a first come first serve site. Didn't need a reservation. Camped by this stream. Literally, my tent was like 2 feet from the bank of the stream. Thank goodness there wasn't a flash flood. Woke up with a really thick frost all over everything, and it was like maybe 30 some degrees, 35 degrees outside when I woke up. I was warm all night, comfy all night. that stream sounds, and being this far away from nature. Okay, now that I'm bougie and I got an extra mattress, I'm about that far from nature. So that's it. I'm headed toward Idaho to this place called the Lost Moose Campground. I don't know if I'll have reception to do tomorrow's lesson, so I'm going to have to do 2 lessons on Sunday to post. So, but we'll see. I kind of hope for no reception in a way. Just helps me tuck my phone away and not care about anything else. So, and then I've been reading and listening to nature sounds and trying to quiet the mind. Still really hard. It is still really hard to really quiet the mind. I guess that is related to these lessons. It's a quest I'm on to see how much more I can continue to quiet the monkey mind. And then it's like often thinking about things and I'm like, I told you, get back here. And yesterday I was talking about just letting it off its leash and it tires itself out. So I've been playing with both of those things, trying to have it sit with me without being on a leash and just stay still. And then also just having it on the long leash and letting it run wild and waiting till it tires itself. So I've just been playing with those 2 things and recognizing each for what they are and not judging either, and just seeing what I learned from that. So yeah, taming the mind, or even coming to understand the mind, is quite the journey. I think I might have preconceptions of what that journey even looks like, what it is, from all the hundreds of stories I've ever heard about people doing meditation and deep contemplative practices. And yet it's different, and it's going to be different for me, it's going to be different for you, and you and you and you. Each person's journey is so unique, and I keep remembering that, and that there's this quality that I tap into that's ineffable. That's why I struggle to find the words. When I remember and truly acknowledge that each journey is so unique, and like, why would mine be any different than different? It gives me such a deep, joy, and it quiets everything. There's not a grasping. The grasping falls away. It's a letting go. It's a letting go. Look at all the cows on the hillside. I feel like they're on such an angle they can just roll down the hill. They're like those goats on the mountainside, except these are big old heavy cows. Oh my God. So there's my mind going off its leash a little bit. Let me pull over here. They're on a 2-way. Well, yeah, it's I-90. I'm on I-90, but it's definitely going up a hill. My ears are popping. So I think whatever that, I'm really enjoying tapping into that space of just that deep, deep, deep recognition. Every time I get there, that you're letting myself off its leash. It's like a breaking open, a letting go. I get emotional. It's right here, right now. Because maybe that's this part of my journey of self-discovery is, wait a minute, why do I allow everyone else to have a unique journey and tell them why It doesn't have to look like anybody else. It doesn't have to look like anything you've ever conceived of. And yet for me, I keep trying to make it look like other people, like things in my conceptual catalog of experiences of mine and other people. It's like, why do I continue to do that? And so the more I practice this letting go, the more the deeper I can sink into this place of, oh man, this is a gorgeous landscape. I wish I could show you. Wow. There's like a cavern, like a chasm between the hillsides. What do you call that? Valley. And then the snow-topped mountains in the distance as I head west across Montana. I always knew, my heart was always drawn here, and I never made it here. And now I get the joy of driving from one side to the other, and it's breathtaking. Good thing my body knows to keep breathing, because I would have passed out miles ago. So anyway, the more I tap into that space, it's just the space I want to keep tapping into. It's like no man's land, off the grid, no maps. There's no maps where we're going, and it's not scary. It's not scary. Weirdly enough, it's kind of getting everything. What I think it is it's letting everything fall away that is not my higher wisdoms, my inner wisdoms, deepest knowing of where I'm going and what that journey is going to look like. And yet I try to talk to people, like when we're talking about these things, I tell them these exact things. It's like conceptually, I get it. That's what it's all about. And yet the unique individual practice of that, it's making more and more and more sense, not of the mind, but in the body, of what that feels like. And yet, even that ineffableness of that cannot be spoken, cannot be communicated to another person so that they feel it in their body, because that felt sense is only felt when you are one foot after the other going into the unknown for yourself. Isn't that beautiful? Like, we can all help each other triangulate the experience, but only the individual can truly drop into the center of that experience. And it's beautiful and amazing, and no, it does not have to be scary. I'm sure some are scary because there's a lot of shadow work to be done on these journeys, and the shadow is where the scary stuff lives. But it's only scary if we try to avoid it and try to push it away and not go there. Truly, when you go there, from speaking for myself, it stopped being scary when I looked directly at it. It's like looking at, like flipping on the light and looking under the bed and realizing, wait, there's no monsters here. They only exist in the dark in our minds when we're trying to hide under the covers and say, there's no monsters, there's no monsters. And that makes you think there really are, and you're trying to talk yourself out of it. But just flipping on the lights, like looking directly at it, that this stuff isn't scary. I gotta make sure I'm going less than 80 miles an hour, because that's the speed limit for the topper on my car. Watch it, if I go over 8, I feel like if I go 81, it's gonna go whoosh and fly off, which would suck big time because my tent is up there. Everything else I'd be fine with. The tent, kind of need that on this trip. I'd have to find a good camping store. Anyway, I'm gonna finish my coffee. I made camp stove coffee this morning, and you know that in the frosty morning mountain air in Montana, and it was I want to burst at the seams with like, this is my unique journey to always be jetting off into the wilderness, not always by myself. I'm really grateful for Matt, because I used to always want to do it myself, and now I don't always want to do it myself. See, I'm getting emotional. The emotions are the clues to keep going and keep revisiting those pathways. Every time you let an emotion release, it's just energy that wants to finally resolve. And so mine, apparently, after these last few years of deep shadow work, you'd think I'd have no more shadows. That man, I was all shadow. After realizing a lot of what mine come down to are, feeling like I wasn't seen, and so therefore I'm just gonna go off alone and be happy alone. And while I still am very much happy and content being in solitude, I don't feel alone now in my partnership. And to include him in the things that bring me joy makes that joy exponential. And that is a beautiful thing that I've come to realize or feel. It's like, oh my God, all this joy I felt doing it alone, it's like not just double, it somehow has this exponential quality when shared. Oh my God. And then now I'm gonna go, but I'll leave you with one thing that just came to my mind again. It's right on topic. Do you know that movie Into the Wild? Love it. Love it. It gets me every time. I can't wait to watch it again for the 5 million zillionth time. When the main character, no spoiler alerts, I hope you've seen it. He's dying in the wilderness of Alaska alone. Not just in solitude, but he's feeling the aloneness. And he's writing. He writes very poetically. Oh my God. That cow has like long horns. Like the longest long horns. It was beautiful. Oh my God. It was like a black cow face with like this white whoosh, like mask across its eyes, and then the horns. Oh my God. Where was I? So he was dying from malnutrition and eating things he shouldn't have been eating because he, I think, read the wrong part of the flora book, like what you can and can't eat. And he's dying, and he's like scribbling his last words in his journal, and it says, happiness only real when shared. Happiness only real when shared. Pretty sure that's almost verbatim. And that stuck with me a long time. Like, I watched that movie when it came out in like 2008. And many times since then. And I questioned it. I was like, well, wait a minute. I have lots of real happiness without anybody else knowing even what I'm doing or experiencing. And now I'm starting to understand it. These last few years of like the spiritual path, meeting, getting to know my real nature and the truth of it all. We're reflections of each other. That's what we are. We're here to learn through each other, not just from each other, but through our interactions with each other. And part of me kind of feels like, yeah, to share our joys, our happiness, has that exponential quality, like I was saying before. It's like true happiness is to gift that to another. And then what you share together in that gifting and receiving is like whoosh, true happiness. I can go around collecting a lot of happy felt experiences. And not just above it, and while that's true, and I can share it with someone, and they can feel happiness in their own way, separate from me. And then the togetherness of that, we share this experience and this happiness together. And then on top of that, even, this is the exponential quality, that act of giving and the act of receiving too is, wow, a happiness that's hard to calculate. Like it has no math to it. So that's it. That's lesson 150 something, 56 I think, and then a lot of extra stuff at the end.